There are many YouTube videos, YouTube series, YouTube lectures about praying. How to pray, how not to pray. There are many books written about prayer also. You can't go through all of them. Neither should you. There's one thing about prayer, and that includes also decrees, declarations. Okay, when it comes to prayer, decrees, declarations, all of that, listen to what I'm saying here. Examine the context of your prayers, decrees, and declarations. Examine it. Why am I telling you to do this? I told you before not to pray out of lack. But a lot of you do. Understand the following, that when the context is wrong, the content will be nullified. Okay, let me repeat that. When the context is wrong, the content, even though the content is good, will be nullified. If you have an individual with high potential, high intelligence, but he works for a firm that's very ineffective, it wouldn't matter how intelligent that employee is. He works for a very ineffective company. And that is going to weigh down on him. So his potential will not be used correctly. So he will spend years working for a firm and then get fired. Years have been lost and none of his potential was used to benefit the human community. What went wrong? The content was all right, but the context was wrong. The wrong context nullified the good content. That's an easy example. Okay, let me bring this to the spiritual. When the context, that means your framework of viewing reality, is lack, that means that all your prayers, decrees, and declarations will be centered around avoiding lack. And when your when your viewpoint is to avoid lack, anything that avoids lack will be seen as a positive to you, while everything that does not immediately relieve you from lack is perceived as an evil. And that's a big deception, let me tell you why. When you have this framework of lack, you want to avoid lack, what's going on? You are in, let me say this, you are in avoidance. You are in escapism. So let's say now that you encounter a situation in which someone is a bit uncomfortable. Because your framework is to avoid lack, you want to avoid that individual. You turn on that individual. You begin to see that individual as an enemy. But when you look at the bigger picture, this uncomfortable individual at the job is one of the reasons why you still have your job. Because this employee, even though others think he is a bit crazy, he talks good about you. And he, speaking good about you, influences your fellow co-workers and also the boss. And that's why people tend to overlook your mistakes at the job. So even though you don't perform that well at the job, you have this individual that is speaking good about you all the time, and that affects the environment that keeps you at the job. But the individual himself is uncomfortable. He has many issues. But here's the thing. You had the wrong way of viewing things. You are into escapism. You just want relief. And because you want relief, you perceive this coworker as an enemy or as a hindrance. You don't want to talk to him. You don't want anything to do with him because you want relief and you perceive him as a threat to your relief seeking, even though you won't acknowledge his relief seeking. You think if that employee is just gone from the job, this will be far better off. No. If that guy that speaks well about you is gone, people are going to notice all your mistakes at the job and your low performance, and you're gone. So, in this case, your context was wrong. Okay? So what you wanted was also wrong. Even if that guy had his issues indeed, and it was quite uncomfortable. You could have prayed to get rid of that guy. But let's say that prayer was answered and the guy gets another job. What are you left with? You're left with co-workers that become envious of you and will turn on you. So your framework of wanting relief blinds you from looking at the bigger picture. So in this case, the context of your prayer was wrong. Even though you prayed in the name of Jesus, even though you prayed effectively, the fact that you worked from a context that was wrong nullified the quality of your prayer. You get what I'm saying here? Look, it can be, for example, that you want financial abundance because you realize finances are relevant in daily life. And let's say now you are praying for financial abundance, and there's nothing wrong with that. You begin to decree it and declare it. You don't just ask for it, you decree and declare it. And after a while, it works out. Besides your job, you now have extra income due to advertisement and many other things, and your income increased by 300%. So in total, you've earned 4 times a month what you used to earn with your job. Let's say that with your job you earn 1,200 euros. Now you earn together 4,800 euros a month. The majority of the money, you don't really work for it. It's through association that you get it. What happened? Your decrees and declarations worked out. But look at this. You were only focused on the content, which is financial prosperity. You did not look at the context. The context is you have a lot of folks around you that don't want to change. They don't want any improvement. They just want to be left alone. And those people that just want to be left alone are now impacted by your financial prosperity. And they can't justify based on their own limited way of thinking how you could have become so prosperous. So your prosperity financially, your financial prosperity reveals onto them that there's more than just their way of thinking. And here's the thing, they don't want to be confronted with that. So now they are upset. And the reason they're upset is because they are exposed to the truth, because you operate in truth. And because you operated in the truth, you manifested financial abundance. But the context is those people don't want to be disturbed. They want to be left alone. So what's going to happen? Those people will now turn on you. So what happens now is that you have the financial prosperity, but at the same time, you have all kinds of attacks on your life. And now you think, why do I have all these attacks? Your expectation was, oh, here you had a wrong expectation. Your expectation was, the more financial prosperity I have, the easier life is going to be. You were only focused on the content of making purchases. Yes, if you have more finances, you can purchase things easier. You can purchase tickets to the Bahamas, a ticket to Korea, a ticket to Brazil. You can do a lot because you can purchase things. If you don't like your partner, just rent another one just like that. You can make easy transactions because you have the finances. You were so focused on that content, but you didn't look at the context. You did not look at the social environment and how people are going to respond to your prosperity. So now you have the financial prosperity, but you have so much problems coming after you. And now you have sleepless nights. You can't even trust the people around you. Now you have a lot of folks that just want things from you and you don't even know them. So your troubles increased 6-fold. Your income increased 4-fold, but now your troubles increased 6-fold. And now you ask yourself, what is this word for? You ask yourself why your troubles increased 6-fold. Here's the thing. There was nothing wrong with the content. You wanted financial prosperity. But you didn't consider the context. You should have realized, hold on a minute. If my finances increase and I can do more, I can spend more, this is going to lead to some resistance. So I can better decree and declare better outcomes so that I will have a better context where the content will match. Because if you're in an environment where people have a poverty mindset and you come with a great content, financial prosperity is not going to work well. But if you, for example, begin to decree and declare that you will have better people around you, or people that are willingly to get along with your prosperity, then you will have a better context, and then the content will be valued and the content can flourish far better. That's what I'm telling you. Examine the context of your prayers, decrees, and declarations. Don't just look at the content. Evaluate the context. So evaluate your attitude. Evaluate also the environment, the bigger picture. Often people pray prayers that would harm them. Not because what they're praying for is wrong, but because if they would get what they wanted on their terms, in the situation they're in, it would backfire onto them, it would destroy them. A lot of folks want financial prosperity, but they're not capable, nor ready to deal with the resistance and the jealousy, the envy, and the hatred will come against them once they have financial prosperity. They still think if they're more prosperous and they can spend more money on their loved ones and on their friends, people are going to love them, it's going to be a heaven on earth. And later they find out that many of the people close to them are exploiting them and harming them. Now, did that prayer work out well for them? No. The content was all right, but the context was wrong. Because those people they wanted to please with that prosperity are predators. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. So how the heck are you going to be safe around wolves in sheep's clothing? You can't. So again, examine the context of your prayers, decrees, and declarations. It's very important. Be at peace.